There you go. Knives. We use them every day, whether you're a mum cutting up an apple for your daughter or you're a dad carving the Sunday roast. We use knives all the time, the dinner table, you name it. And these are just some of my knives. These aren't my pocket knives and they're not my fish filleting knives, they're all down on the houseboat. But these are the ones I have at the old farmhouse and I use them for all manner of things. I'm going to start at this end here. This knife here is one that my father made, and it's probably the most important knife I own. I was 12 years old when he made it. The brass at the end is off a ship's steering wheel that he was a captain of. The steel is off one of his old hunting knives. The antler handle was from a dairy shop. He also made me the sheath, and there's actually a picture of a deer going in a valley, but it's long since faded. This got lost for 10 years. It got buried in a pigsty, and one of my dogs dug it up. I got it back. It's been lost a number of times, but it's always come back to me, and I will pass this on to my daughter Dana. It's still very sharp. It's very special to me for sentimental reasons. This knife here was gifted to me by Kenny Ackroyd, fantastic musician in Christchurch that I played with years ago. I've got a whole video, the story about this assassin knife. This knife is made for one thing only, stabbing. And it has been used. I've got a video on that. If you can hunt it out, good luck to you. If you follow my channel, you would have already probably seen that story. I won't go onto it too much. My latest knife that I've just got, which I just love, is from Simon Walker. Check that baby out. That's a beautiful knife. I'm not sure how well we're focusing back here. I'll come up close to show you this one because it's got a beautiful handle, and we'll try and focus on that. There. That's high carbon steel. Look at this beautiful handle. And there's the lanyard, so it goes into the sheath, and the sheath he also made as well. A beautiful, beautiful knife. The sheath is one of Simon Walker's sheaths. Here we go. This is it here. Beautiful sheath. In there like that. And what I like about that sheath is the knife goes right down. It can't get lost. You need to grab it for the pig. It's out. You've got it. And then do the bizzo. And as all you hunters know, the knife only comes out once the pig is contained. Moving along, my sashimi knife gifted to me by Awi. A knife that I don't really know how to sharpen properly. It only sharpens on one side, and it's got a sort of a concave. It's not quite flat, it sort of goes that way. What do you say, concave or convex? I'm not sure. I think it's concave. But great for doing sashimi. This knife here was gifted to me by Vasa. He's down in, or Vaughan as is known. He's down in Tapanui. This is a steak knife, and it's got those nice bloodletting grooves all the way down there. Beautiful knife made in Germany, made by Giesener. This knife here came from Mason Sparks. I love this knife. This is a Shin, a fantastic kitchen knife. Mason's probably the first guy to give me a really, really good kitchen knife, and this is it. But I do have another good kitchen knife which is equally as good, handmade by Simon Walker. Beautiful high carbon steel with a beautiful sheath. A knife like this to buy about $500 if you include the sheath if you're buying one off Simon. I don't think he's making these anymore. If you've got a Simon Walker knife, then you are bloody lucky. New Zealand's knife maker, probably one of the best knife makers in New Zealand, according to me, but we've all got our own tastes. Moving along, this is a sword. Sword make a range of stick knives. This one here was borrowed by a young fellow. I take out Spencer, and Spencer, you didn't clean enough, you stuck last pig, I can see. He's got a tie on that there to help pull it out. Smart idea, so he can, on his hip, he can grab it and then take it out again. And Spencer, next time you borrow my knife, clean it after you stuck the pig. I wanted to include this here, it's just a Victory. It's a boning knife. I've got a couple of Victories, I've actually got quite a few Victories. I've got the boning knife and the skinning knife. And what I wanted to say was, Victory is probably for all you young hunters that are starting off. If you want to have a good knife but don't want to spend a lot of money, then this is your go-to. A lot of butchers use them, a lot of guys in the freezing works use them. This is actually high carbon steel. I've got a few. I've also got a one that's a filleting knife. This is another one that's a boning knife, same knives too, I think. You can see that it's gone quite dark because the high carbon, it's sort of a little bit rusty. It gets like that. That's because it's high carbon. It's not like stainless. These are great knives with a drop tip, so you can skin, you can stick a pig with that, you can throat it, you can arsehole it, you can gut it, whip the skin off. A good all-round knife to have on your hip. You can put a hole through there and put a lanyard through and stick it in your sheath. This is actually a Simon Walker sheath I've got it in, and a beautiful sheath. I'll come in close so you can see actually that's the wrong one. Don't do that, Clay, you'll fuck it. Here we go. that's the sheath there. A really nice, again, sheath by Simon Walker. Is it going to focus for you guys? Look at the workmanship on that. Beautiful thick leather. Very nice. Simon makes not only good knives, but he also makes very good sheaths. And all his knives, they come with it. So while we're talking about Simon Walker knives, we'll go to the prototype, or at least the blade that he gave me to test when we first started making these. These were around my design. Basically a killing knife, yet also a field knife. That's just a blade. So his steel, I believe, comes from Sweden. It's high carbon steel. And he gave me this to test it, to try and break it. I put some pressure on. To be honest, I don't want to break it. I wanted to keep it because one day I thought I might make a knife out of it myself. But I did put a lot of pressure on this blade, and it was bloody tough. It took a hell of a lot. We've gifted a few of these to young guys. There's only like one left that has never gone to anybody, and that's it there. Still on the packet, still with the card on. And as you can see, if I take it out, it's got that beautiful high carbon steel. There's the lanyard. Matte-eye handle with a resin between the tang. And if you look at the actual blade that I had, which I just have now lost, put down, I wanted to show you that, compare it, there it goes. You can see they're very, very similar. You go down to about there. So what you have is, you have a sticking knife. These ones are 2mm, although this one that I've just showed you, the orange handle one, is actually 3mm. It's a knife which has been tested in the field many times and used on lots of animals with hunting and that, and I find it's a really good knife for everything. With that drop tip, you can gut your pig, you cut your throat out, cut your arsehole out, and when you get it home, you can hang it up and you can even skin it with it. But it's also got that length for sticking, like a long, long blade to get down. So if you've got a bigger animal you're killing, you make sure you're going to hit that heart and take it out of the equation. So moving along, I'll pop this knife back in its sheath. To earn one of these knives, these are for the young fellas that come out, but you've got to do a whole lot of stuff right and get right to the end and pretty much be an all-rounded hunter with good morals, good ethics, good habits, safety, and better do the whole lot yourself. And not every year a young fella gets one of these. The last young fella that got one of those off us was Jonty, and there goes my orange knife there. Again, here is another Simon Walker stick knife. This is the one that I was using till recent, and this has actually got a 3mm thick blade, as is the orange one too, which I have shown you. These are slightly heavier. Blade is a little bit longer on the orange one, probably by about centimetre, I suppose, and the shape a little bit fatter and a little bit different all round, but beautiful, beautiful, just absolutely. He's a craftsman. What can I say? He's an absolute bloody craftsman. Right, this knife here was sent to me, and I forget your name, sorry mate. I get so many different good bastards help me out with stuff. But he had this sitting for 20 years in a box with grease on, and as you can see, it's picking up a bit of hair off that because of the grease. High carbon steel. I don't know the brand, but I've used this a few times for skinning. A beautiful skinning knife. I'm thinking it's possibly a buck, but I just don't know. It could be a Green River, don't know, not sure, but a nice classic skinning knife. Here we've got one of the mini knives that Ross Johnson made, and I butchered it by cutting it down after it snapped at the tip, and I did some sort of carvings on the blade. A nice knife though, and I've used it for fishing a lot. It's got I think it's rosewood and brass at the hilt there, and the sheath, not the original sheath, he actually had a fatter sheath, carrying yet another one of those useless bloody steels that will fuck your knife up. They're really like quite rough. I like to have a nice smooth steel. So Vasa that sent me this from Tapani also sent me 6 of these. These are a prime, very, very cheap boning knife, a good knife. I've gifted all of these now to most of the good bastards. Wayne Robinson's got one, a couple of young guys have got one, but I have kept one for myself, and also one for the that the dogs chewed the handle for cutting up dog roll. Moving along, I want to show you this one here. I don't know who it was that sent it me, but I just wanted to include it because occasionally I use this for little jobs, and it's been made out of a file. You can see there on the, I'll come up close so you can have a look at this one here. It's got a definitely a file blade. It's done that. Is that showing up all right in the and a nice wee handle. Got the brass, nice little pocket knife. I'm not sure who actually sent that to me, but it's a bloody cracker. We're still focusing. Hopefully we're still on the shot. I'm doing this video all in one hit without editing it, pausing. It's pretty much a snap vlog. Right, I said I'd get to the worst knife, which is the one I made. I'm not quite there yet. I want to show you this one. Good bastard Craig Thin gave me this one from the West Coast. This is an old, I think it's a World War II bayonet that fits on the old 303, fits on the rifle, and for stabbing people pretty much. I don't know whether Craig's blooded on a pig, but it's got the big bloodletting there. Imagine, meeting your fate on the end of one of those. Someone coming towards you with a bloody rifle and, sticking that in your guts. All it has on it is B3. I don't think it has anything more on it. They're quite a collectible, these now. There used to be lots of them around when I was a kid, but they're becoming harder and harder. Yeah, it says BT3 in a triangle, and that's actually the only writing that's got on it. It's got a number that's down here, but you can hardly read it, and I'm not sure what that number means. Maybe it's a series. It says 2543. And that's pretty much it. Other than BT3, that's it. And we've got a chopper flying over us now. I suppose it's not quite that time of year. They'll be looking for the electric broccoli growing in the hills. Okay, this looks like a kitchen knife, but it's actually a Japanese butcher's knife. Very, very good high carbon steel, although the problem is you cannot hit bone with it. Whereas with, say, your Vitri or your Vitrinox, you hit bone, generally okay. You hit bone with this, it chips. I butchered a cattle beast with it, and I was really gutted at the end. It had little nicks in the blade, and I realised it's only for cutting meat. But that is a traditional Japanese butcher's knife. Right, the worst knife on the table definitely is the one I made out of a, oh God knows where that steel come from. It's got something that says on there, in writing it's printed on there, it says hard hitter. So obviously of something. Deer handle, and I've got some fiberglass I filled the gaps with. I never blooded it on a pig. It was going to be a stick knife. I made it in probably a couple of hours, and it's horrible, but I just wanted to include that in there just for the hell of it. That was my knives today. If there's anything you want to know more about knives that you're interested in, whether it's what to sharpen them with, what's the best steel, ask the questions below. I read all your comments, and if it's a question that deserves an answer, I'll definitely answer it, and I'll let you know. Good luck with all your own knives. Be good, can't be good, be careful, and I'll see you in the next video. Right, gonna put this all back inside now.